Shabbat Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. I kind of got Big Judah had posted a video, and I kind of got caught up in that. But I'm here now. So, everybody, we're going to get into the spirit of envy and fear that leads to betrayal. And, I really truly believe that is the case with Nolan Wells. I believe those white dudes he was with, they were all jealous of him. When you look at some of his pictures, he was quite athletic. They said he was a really good student too. And I think there was a lot of jealousy there. You know, these folks be jealous of us. And, that's why you see the microaggressions come out in them because they talk all that IQ and smarter than us, but at the end of the day, they know they're really not smarter than us. They know they're really not the ones that built this country. They know they're not the ones that came up with all the inventions. So it's a lot of envy, you know? So I can definitely relate to this Bible study. So, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. My name is Yadon Yasharal. I'm with my brother Kased Yasharal. Shabbat Shalom, Mark. How you doing?
Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, everything is going all right.
Praise Yah, praise Yah. So, talking to you a little bit offline. It's a bit of a flu going around over there.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Is it typical around this year, or is it something a little different?
Yeah, I would say so. I think one of the kids always gets sick. Apparently, according to my wife, all the kids in my daughter's class are sick. Well, most of them are sick. So, yeah, it's definitely a season for it.
Right, right. Well, praise Yah that everybody's healing up well and getting better. Once you have these little ones in the house, that's what took us down was our 4-year-old nephew. In them pre-K colds took us out, took the whole house out. But praise y'all, we're back. So again, we're here for our weekly Shabbat study. Before we get into the class, we're going to do a little bit of current events as we always do. Speaking of the flu, the first thing I want to talk about is this bird flu that is here in Georgia now. So if y'all remember, bird flu was one of those things that was supposed to be real dangerous and so forth and so on. But just this week, it says that bird flu was detected in a commercial poultry flock in Georgia for the first time since the current outbreak started in 2022. So this is so-called bird flu. It says the positive case of the H5N1 strain of a highly pathogenic avian influenza was found in Elbert County. It was confirmed by the Georgia Department of Agriculture and the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. This marks the 5th detection of the virus in a flock in the state, but the first one in a commercial poultry operation. Last week, GDA officials announced that the virus was found in a flock of 13 chickens and ducks in Clayton County. So this is Clayton County. This is Clayton County is one of the counties that make up here in Atlanta. And just, for us to just be aware of what's going on, this is more reason why we want to stick with our farmers. Atlanta Harvest down here, they also in Henry County or right on the border of Clayton County. We ain't hearing about no outbreaks over there because we know how they're taking care of their animals and their food. So that's just for you to pay attention. How is this bird flu getting around? What's happening? But, Anytime something affects chicken, it's going to heavily affect us as a people. So we definitely want to consider that, and be careful where you're getting your food, and how you're cooking your food. Um, the second thing we want to talk about, is starting tomorrow, TikTok is set to be banned. So what does that mean for us and many of us that are on TikTok, trying to put out the truth? A lot of our youth are on there learning about a lot of stuff, as well as a lot of foolishness out there on TikTok. So according to CNN, the clock is ticking down on TikTok in America. A law that requires TikTok to find a new non-Chinese owner or face a ban is scheduled to go effect Sunday. So tomorrow, they're saying as early as tomorrow, this is set to go into effect. And that means 170 million Americans could lose access to a platform they use to find entertainment. So now they trying to make it sound like they're gonna lose from, because your ideas flourish. Hold on one second. Come to life faster. Your need. All right. So what they're saying is that they're making it look like all of a sudden you can't use the application, but really what's going on is that your app isn't going to necessarily go away if you have it already downloaded, but it's saying that they would not be able to download it. So if you don't have TikTok already on your phone, they're saying the experts expect the app to be removed on Sunday from Apple and Google app stores. So that means anyone without the app already on their phones could not download it. So if you don't have it, you might want to download it before they ban it. And that leads us to, why are they banning TikTok? Why are they banning it? So what they're saying is the central allegation against TikTok is that the company poses a potential national security risk. U.S. officials have worried that Chinese government could pressure TikTok or its parent company, ByteDance, into handing over the personal information of its U.S. users, which could then be used for Chinese intelligence operations or the spreading of Chinese-backed disinformation. So they're saying the Chinese could be pushing bad information and using our personal information. Well, if they're so concerned, if the U.S. government is so concerned about this bad information, why they not banning toxic hip hop music talking about killing folks and popping drugs why they ain't banning that? They quick to try to put brothers in jail and saying that hip hop is so deadly and they're gangsters, but you're not banning the music that's poisoning our kids. And furthermore, why you not banning toxic television or other toxic formats of music? You're not banning the KKK and all their evidence and stuff that they put out. So really, what are you trying to ban? It seems like the only thing they really trying to ban is truth seekers and spreaders of the truth from spreading truthful information. And TikTok has become the YouTube. It used to be YouTube in our generation that folks will go on videos and look up stuff, but now it's TikTok. When you Google stuff and you Google video, TikTok comes up most of the time. So they want to control that media. So look out for that. That looks like it's going to be banned tomorrow. And the last thing I want to talk about is we're all aware down here about all these fires that's going on in California. It's something that happens every year, but this year they're saying that it's pretty bad. But what I wanted to talk about California is something even different. It says smoke from fire at California lithium battery plant raises concerns about air quality. So this don't have nothing to do with the wildfires, but a fire broke out. And what's the significance of this? So a fire at the world's largest battery storage plant. So this is the world's largest battery storage plant. This is in Northern California. Smoldered Friday after sending fumes of toxic smoke into the atmosphere, leading to the evacuation of up to 1,500 people. The blaze also shook up the young battery storage industry. So what we got to understand is that lithium batteries are highly explosive, for one, right? And this the same thing that they want to change everything over to battery cars and electric cars and want to put this strain on our electric grid. But this is what we risk the threat of. If a battery plant is blowing up, imagine when all these batteries start going into vehicles and into different things that now have to be plugged into our electric grid. Could lead to a really bad situation. So we're not considering that while they're trying to push us over onto these electric cars and electric situations. So I just wanted to bring that up while we're talking about all these wildfires. So with that being said, again, we are Savior Word of Yah, Tabernacles of the Congregation of Yisrael, and Israelites Gathering, bringing you one of our Shabbat studies. And the title of our Shabbat study today is The Spirit of Envy and Fear Leads to Betrayal. The spirit of envy and fear leads to betrayal. So, what is the significance of that? What is this spirit of envy and fear? Well, we have to understand that when we start to envy the wicked, it says, do not envy the wicked. We want what they have. And we're willing to do by any means that's going to lead to a betrayal of your people, betrayal of your family, a betrayal to the covenant in your nation in Yah. Also, another thing that leads to betrayal is fear. When you're afraid to stand up and do what's right because of the fear of the consequences of doing the right thing, or you're fearing leadership, or you're fearing an organization, anything of that nature. If you allow that spirit, it will lead you to betray. So we're going to identify that. We're going to look at those concepts here, and we're going to see how it starts with allowing that spirit into us. And that's what's going to lead us over into a betrayal. And the worst kind of betrayal is the betrayal of your own. All right. So let's open this up in Numbers chapter 13. So we're going to go ahead and share the scripts. Numbers chapter 13. And we're going to start that at verse 1. And again, this is an open forum. So if anybody has any questions, comments, if you have information that you can add that help us get better understanding, by all means do so. Let's just do it decent and in order. And if you haven't already, download our application before it gets banned on Apple or Android. It's free. And you can always visit our website at israelitesgathering.com to access all this information. And Shabbat Shalom, Sis Stephanie Hicks, good to see you. Shabbat Shalom to the King Aaron Hicks, good to see you, family. Shabbat Shalom to my other brother from another mother, Brother Will, good to see you, family. And Shabbat Shalom, Sis Sharita, good to see you as well. And as always, Shabbat Shalom to my sis Ariel Smith, good to see you as well. So we're going to open this up in Numbers by Midbar, chapter 13, and go ahead and start at verse 1 when you're ready, y'all.
Numbers chapter 13 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Send you men, that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Yasharal. Of every tribe of their fathers shall you send a man, every one of a ruler among them. And Moshe, by the commandment of Yahweh, sent them from the wilderness of Paran. All those men were his of the children of Yasharal. And these were their names: of the tribes of Reuben, Shemuel the son of Zakur; of the tribe of Shimeon, Shaphat the son of Hori; of the tribe of Yehuda, Caleb the son of Jephunneh, of the tribe of Issachar, Igal the son of Joseph, of the tribe of Ephraim, O'Shea the son of Nun, of the tribe of Benjamin, Palti the son of Raphu, of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel the son of Sadi, of the tribe of Joseph, namely of the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi the son of Susi, of the tribe of Dan, Amiel the son of Gimeli, of the tribe of Asher, Sether the son of Mikael, of the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi the son of Vopsi, of the tribe of Gad, Guel the son of Maki. These are the names of the men which Moshe sent to spy out the land. And Moshe called O'Shea the son of Nun, Yehoshua. And Moshe sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, Get you up this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwells therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many.
All right. So what we had here is they went down the line of the tribes, and they showed you all the men, the one man that they chose to represent every tribe here. So they gave him by name, and Yah is saying, "Hey, go into the land that I have given you, and spy out the land. Check it out." So again, we talk about stages of war. Before you go siege war, you want to see what you up against. You want to see who's in the land, what's the layout of the land, what are the resources, so forth and so on. So he is sending a representative to represent each tribe to go into the land. All right, Tamshi. And Shabbat Shalom to my brother Yafi Yahawada. Good to see you, big bro.
Numbers chapter 13 and verse 19. And see the land, what it is, and the people that dwell therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many, and what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, and what cities they be that they dwell in, whether in tents or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether there be wood therein or not. And be you of good courage, and bring up the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes.
All right. So
they went up.
The time of the first ripe grapes, this would be, I guess this would be around, I want to say Pentecost or something. I think that's the vine. You have the barley in the first harvest, and then I believe you have the grapes. It's either that one or the last one. It might be the wheat in the middle one, and then the one during tabernacles might be the grape. But either way, it's giving you a specific time. And notice it's saying, be of good courage, because you have to go into a dangerous territory and bring back sensitive information, which is going to affect your family, not only your family, but all the tribes. So you can't go in there with this spirit of fear when you're supposed to be representing your people. All right, verse 21.
So they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Sin unto Rehob, as men came to Hamath. And they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron, where Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zon in Mizraim, or Egypt. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bare it between two. They bare it between two upon a staff, and they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook of Eshcol, because the cluster of grapes which the children of Yasharal cut down from thence. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. And they went and came to Moshe and to Aharon and to all the congregation of the children of Yasharal unto the wilderness of Paran to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him and said, "We came into the land whither you sent us, and surely it flows with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan."
All right. So just a little historical fact tidbit here. So it's talking about these Canaanites where they dwell. Some of the one that I really want to focus on here is the Jebusites. The Jebus or Jebusites were the original inhabitants of Jerusalem. And look where it says that they dwell. And the Jebusites and the Amorites dwelled in the mountains. So if Jebus is the original place of Jerusalem, how could Jerusalem be in a valley if the Jebusites dwell in the mountains? So that's letting you know the geography that they have right now is not biblically sound. All right. And it says the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. So we know that's part of Canaan, but that's not specifically where we dealt. All right. Verse 30.
And Caleb stilled the people before Moshe and said, "Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it." But the men that went up with him said, "We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we."
All right. So there goes that fear. They were told to go up with good courage, not to come back with this spirit of fear. Yah gave the land to the children of Yasharal, and he's saying, go spy it out so that, for military purposes, so you can see what the resources is and how you're going to take it. And here you have this one brother, Caleb, who's trying to steal the people, to calm the people down, to calm them down. But the rest of the men, and we're talking about the other 10 men, because we know when we read the story, Joshua wasn't doing that. But Caleb and Joshua are the only ones that are coming back with an honest report. Not a fearful report, but an honest report. All right, Tom Sheen.
Verse 32. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Yasharal, saying, "The land, though which we have gone to search it, is a land that eats up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature."
So not only are they scared, talking about the stature of a man, the stature of a man has absolutely nothing to do with battle whatsoever. King David proved that. But at the end of the day, because of their fear, they're not only going to highlight all the things that are fearful, they're going to add stuff like, oh yeah, the land eating up people and all time. They lying, giving an evil report. Now you putting fear in the hearts of the women. Now the women are in fear. The men are in fear, all because of your evil report, your lack of faith. All of this leads to betrayal. But it's starting with this fear. All right, finish that up, Op.
Verse 33. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight.
All right, so the children of Anak, if we look at that, when they say giants, let's see what that means. We understand the Greek version of giants. We thinking like Jack and the Beanstalk, right? But let's see what that word is. Nephil, H5303, properly a feller. That is a bully or tyrant. So this is somebody who is a bully or a tyrant. That's what giant is. All right. So in the Greek, they have this other term that they use, but in the Hebrew, a Nephil, like the Nephilim, these were the tyrants. These were the people that took on understanding from the evil angels and were using it to destroy people. So they're afraid of man that dies. That's what they're afraid of. Let's go to the next chapter, Numbers chapter 14.
Numbers chapter 14 and verse 1. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Yasharal murmured against Moshe and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, Would Elohim that we had died in the land of Mizraim, or would Elohim we had died in this wilderness? And wherefore has Yahweh brought us up unto this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return into Egypt?
Once again, the fear that they have. And now keep in mind, this is an enslaved people coming out of captivity. When you coming out of captivity, you ain't the most honorable and tough and strong man. You are a product of slavery. So look what they doing. They are turning against Yah, but they got enough sense not to go at Yah, because they seen what Yah did to the heathen. So they turn around and they start to come against the leadership, Moshe and Aaron. And then now they're using their children and their wives as an excuse, when it's really their own fear that's paralyzing them. And now they're betraying their own family, because the best way to betray your family is to not be here, to not live. And now they're betraying their whole family. Verse 4.
If I could just
go ahead.
Interject, I'm not sure where you're planning to take the class, but just cut me off if I'm getting into something you don't want to get into. But what, as we're reading this, was coming to my mind is that, I'm also looking at this on obviously the national level, but I'm also looking at it on a personal level as well. And, in terms of, on a spiritual level, rather, in terms of how, in terms of our own hearts and seeding, I guess you could say, seeding places in our own hearts to, or at least giving places in our own heart to the Most High, so that He can, take that ground back from the enemy.
Right.
And it's interesting because, I know many people struggle with this, including myself, when certain parts, when Yah exposes certain parts that land in you, that ground in your heart that is stony, that is rebellious, that is scary. It can be scary, and often when you see what's going on here, the people, they saw the land, they spied out the land, now they're full of fear, and they want to go back into bondage,
right?
Rather than to face that the face what was exposed or shown them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's the same way with a lot of us. A lot of us are kind of in addictive cycles because we start to enjoy that bondage, because it's actually scary looking at it and actually going in there and allowing Yah, having the faith that, Yah is going to heal that if you give it to him, you know what I'm saying? And if you trust him. But yeah, so I think it's definitely can be looked at on a spiritual level as well.
Absolutely. And that's the proper way to look at scripture, is to look at what happened and what does that mean spiritually for the people and for your own self, for your own condition. And that's exactly what we need to look at. They wanted to run back into bondage because they were afraid of greatness. They were afraid of the greatness that Yah had ahead of them, and they were afraid to put their body in a position that may be in danger, even though Yah promised them. And that's exactly what we go through today. We're afraid to go into greatness because that would require us to put our temple in dangerous territory. But it's a lack of faith. If you had faith in what Yah's word, you believed his word, you wouldn't have that fear. But it's that lack of faith which causes that fear. And they saw the miracles and still had that lack of fear. But keep in mind, again, they're coming out of captivity. So now fast forward to 2025, should we come out, what manner of spirit are you going to expect from the children of Israel that are coming out of captivity? And you see it right here, a fearful, unbelieving, doubting spirit. And all you had was Joshua and Caleb. And we're going to talk a little bit about Caleb in a second. Go ahead, continue.
Numbers chapter 14 and verse 3. Verse 4. And they said one to another, let us make a captain and let us return into Mizraim.
So here go the democracy again. This is what we learn from the heathen, this democracy thing. Like, what? Let's vote, let's come together, and let's decide, put who we want to put in place. Let's get a leader for us. No, Yah is your leader. Yah decided. Yah told you what you needed to do. But now we want to do what we want to do. We're going to put our own people in position of power. And that's no different than us when we say Yah is our leader. Yah's word is our authority. But let me do what I want to do. Let me put myself in charge because it works to my benefit.
Verse 5. Then Moshe and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Yasharal. And Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes.
All right, so these are the people, when you're renting your clothes, that's tearing your clothes up, saying, I don't have nothing to do with this. I don't want to look like none of y'all, all of y'all regular. You can clearly see I have a problem with this. So Joshua, the son of Nun, right? And Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, were of them that searched the land and rent their clothes. So what we need to look at here is you having Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. Who is Jephunneh? Interesting. So let's take a look at that real quick. So you have Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. So we looked that up. Just want to make a quick point, and then we're going to get back into the class. So if you look up Caleb, and we go to Numbers 14. Actually, not Numbers 14. We want to go to Numbers 32. Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. So who is Jephunneh? Jephunneh, the Kenizzite. Interesting. So now we're getting a little bit more to the story. You got 12 people supposed to represent the 12 tribes, each one representing a tribe. The tribes is afraid. You have Joshua, the son of Nun, and you follow his bloodline. He's of Ephraim and Manasseh. I believe it was Manasseh. He's a Manassite, so he's of Joseph, right? And now you have Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite. So who are the Kenizzites? All right, so let's look that up. So 870-74, Kenizzi, a Kenizzite or descendant of Kenaz. So let's see who Kenaz is. Let's go to Genesis 36 in verse 10 and 11. So we're just looking at bloodlines real quick, and this is for a reason. I'll read Bereshit 36 and 10 through 11. You there?
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
These are the names of Esau's sons.
Uh-oh. These Esau sons, now pay attention.
Eliphaz, the son of Ada, the wife of Esau. Ruel, the son of Bashemath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Taman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz.
There you go. So Yephane was a Kenizzite. The Kenizzites are the sons of Kenaz, and Kenaz is the son of Eliphaz, and Eliphaz is the son of Esau. So Caleb, the one brother who's standing up saying, no, Yah said we can have this. Yah said we can do this. He's not even from the stock of Israel, but yet he was chosen to represent Judah. What is that saying here? And we want to get some more proof. Let's go back to Numbers 14. Bamidbar, number 14. Numbers 14. And we're at verse 6. Caleb, the son of Yephane, right? Let's look at Caleb's name. Caleb, age 3612. Perhaps a form of age 3611, or from the same root in the sense of forcible, right? Let's see the root. Caleb, an unused root meaning to yelp or else to attack a dog. So this is why you want to look up these names before you start naming your children. The name Caleb literally means dog in Hebrew, and by euphemism, a male prostitute. So ain't no Israelite gonna choose to name their child Caleb, knowing that that means dog or a euphemism for male prostitute. So Yah allowed an Edomite, Esau, right? Because he was different to represent Judah. And obviously he was in, as when we read it in another place, he said, except for Caleb, who had another spirit. He had faith. And this man representing Judah, while his other counterparts of the other tribes kept the spirit of fear. So when they teaching that racist doctrine that, you know, all white people is Esau, don't add up. Because there weren't no white people around the tribes at this time. Don't add up. Or furthermore, that only Israel is going to be saved. How is that the case? When he's choosing people of other nations to do righteousness. And when they do righteousness, they're rewarded. When you read the rest of the story, Caleb got Lot amongst Judah. So let's get back in. Let's pick up where we left off.
Real quick, you know what's interesting to me is that with Caleb's name meaning dog and him being of his lineage and not of Israel, it literally reminds me of when Yahushua was talking to that woman, and he said, it's not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs.
Absolutely.
And her reply was, what was it? She
True,
said,
Adonai,
yeah.
But even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table.
Right, and then he said, "Great is your faith," and you see the same. You see in a way the same faith here.
Absolutely, because it's all tied. And when you look at who that lady was, she was Syro-Phoenician. So that's like right around. That's right around Syria and Phoenicia. So that's right, not too far from Esau. So that's a great time precept.
Numbers chapter 14, verse 6. And Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Yephane, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes. And they spake unto all the company of the children of Yasharal, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land.
It's a good land. It has everything you need. That's not what Yah asked. Are you afraid to go over there? Should we be afraid? He didn't ask all that. He asked, and that was for you. It was a test to see whether you were going to be blessed or not. And that's what Yah will do when you're about to receive a blessing. He's going to test the people around you to see whether or not they're going to be able to take part in this blessing that you're about to receive. He's going to show you people's hearts. And sometimes he'll show you your own heart when you're about to be blessed so you can change your ways. Tamshi?
Verse 8. If Yahweh delight in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it us, a land which flows with milk and honey.
There you go. If Yah delighting, if it be his will, we gonna have it. It's not whether you stronger than the people there or you got enough people or it's a easy land to take. Yah already gave you the prescription. What's the question? It's either you have faith or you don't.
Verse 9. Only rebel not you against the Yahweh, neither fear you the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and Yahweh is with us. Fear them not. But all the congregation bade stone them with stones, and the glory of Yahweh appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Yasharal.
And this is why you can't be in no position of leadership being scary, being afraid. You can't have fear and lead a family. You can't have fear and lead a group of people. You can't have fear and lead a congregation, and you definitely can't have fear leading a nation. You saw the difference between Saul. Saul feared the people. And he said, oh, well, let me go ahead and do this sacrifice because the people is complaining and, da-da-da-da. David did not fear the people or the heathen or anybody because he said, this is Yah's heavenly army you coming against. So if you are going to be a man of fear, that's going to stop you from doing the right thing. That's going to lead to betrayal of your position because you fear the people grabbing up stones. So you got stones to stone me, but you afraid to grab up stones to go take the land that Yah gave to us after he just freed us from captivity, from the biggest bully on the block? We weren't captive in Canaan. Canaan wasn't the biggest threat. Egypt was the biggest. Kemet was the biggest threat. Tamshi?
Verse 11. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be ere they believe me for all the signs which I have showed among them? I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and will make of you a greater nation and mightier than they. And Moshe said unto Yahweh, then the Mizrites, the Egyptians, shall hear it, for you brought up this people in your might from among them. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, for they have heard that you, Yahweh, are among this people, that you, Yahweh, are seen face to face, and that your cloud stands over them, and that you go before them by daytime in a pillar of a cloud, and in a pillar of a fire by night. Now, if you shall kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard the fame of you will speak, saying, because Yahweh was not able to bring this people into the land which he swore unto them, therefore has he slain them in the wilderness.
Praise Yah.
And
So Moshe is giving us a secret right here, a power of prayer. When you go before Yah and you use his words to strengthen your prayer, Yah, you said, if I repent, that I will be blessed, that I will be covered. You said that if those that wait on you will never be ashamed. You said your people were going to eat, their people are going to starve. That's how you go before Yah. You don't go before the people afraid. You use his words because Yah's word will not lie. And you can only do that if you have faith in his word. If you don't have faith in his word, the fear or flight or fight is going to break in and the flight is going to kick in. So that is the key. When you are up against your enemy and you are trying to walk in righteousness, Yah, you said it. Remove these people or else they're going to say, look, ain't that a servant of Yah? Ain't he always talking about Yah? Ain't he always trying to keep command? He always say, don't do that. Yah said, don't do that. Well, now the people going to say, you see, Yah don't got no power. Even the servants, even they falling. Even they are losing faith. So it can't be true. And Yah is a God of glory. He's not going to let anybody take away his glory. That's right. We want to bring him into remembrance. That's the power. Tom She?
Verse 17. And now I beseech you, let the power of my master be great, according as you have spoken, saying, Yahweh is long suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children into the third and fourth generation.
All right, so he's visiting the iniquity. So the sinfulness of the fathers, that's going all the way down to your child to the third and fourth generation. So remember, you read the next part. It talks about pardon iniquity to the 10th generation for those that believe on him. So we want to consider that. That's what we're doing right now to this day. We are fixing the curses, the generational curses that were put onto us by our forefathers. That same mercy going to be extended to our children.
Verse 19. Pardon, I beseech you, the iniquity of this people according unto the greatness of your mercy, and as you have forgiven this people from Mizraim even unto now. And Yahweh said, I have pardoned according to your word. But as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of Yahweh.
All the earth. So if the glory of Yahweh cannot sit on you because the spirit of fear, the spirit of envy, the spirit of uncleanness and wickedness lays on you, then the whole earth ain't filled with the glory of Yah. Then you gonna be removed from the earth. Because it say the meek will inherit the earth.
Verse 22. Because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice.
10 times. 10 times. This ain't just one time. This is constant. Yah is so merciful. He's giving you chance after chance after chance. You should only get one chance. This man just freed you out of captivity and showed you miracles, and you still going against him? And he allowed you 10 times to do this? I'm sorry, a man will not be that merciful. A regular man will not be that. A regular man gonna kill you that first time you did that. After I just freed you out of captivity. But Yah supposed to just forgive everything, right? Tom She?
Verse 23. Surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoke me see it. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and has followed me fully, him will I bring into the land whitherto he went, and his seed shall possess it.
And his seed shall possess. So the land of Israel will forever have an Edomite, his bloodline and his family, because another spirit was with him. So he didn't have the national spirit of Esau. Them people getting wiped out. He had another spirit. He had the spirit of Yasharal, upright with Yah, with him, and followed Yah fully. And because of that, Yah rewarded him with a name amongst the tribe of Judah in Israel. This is Numbers. This is Torah. So you can't teach racist Israelite doctrine and make it out of the Torah. You can't even get to the prophets. Right here in Torah is showing you.
Verse 24. But my servant, verse 25. Now the Amalekites and the Canaanites dwelled in the valley, tomorrow turn you and get you into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea.
So that's showing you who lives in the valley, the Amalekites and some of the Canaanites. But again, the Jebusites and the Philistines, I believe also, they dwelt in the mountains. So Jerusalem cannot be in the valley. That's not where it was. That's not where the people were. Verse 26.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation which murmur against me? I've heard the murmurings of the children of Yasharal, which they murmur against me. Say unto them, as truly as I live, says Yahweh, as you have spoken in mine ears, so will I do to you.
So let's look at what murmur is so that we understand what that is. So we're not doing that. All right. So to murmur is to complain. H8519, teluna, in the sense of obstinacy, a grumbling or murmuring. So you might do what you're supposed to do, but you're grumbling and complaining about it. You're putting your work to none effect. And Yah understands when you are murmuring in your heart, where you're complaining and grumbling about doing righteousness. Well, you don't want to do righteousness. You can go over there with the people that don't do righteousness. Lake of fire. Go ahead. Your choice. Verse 28.
Say unto them, as truly as I live, says Yahweh, as you have spoken in my ears, so will I do to you. Your carcasses shall fall in the wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upwards, which have murmured against me.
All right, so that's your whole number, 20. That's when you become a whole person at 20 years old. But this country, Babylon, will take an 18-year-old, which is still supposed to be in their parents' house, and put them to war. And furthermore, take an 18-year-old girl, woman, female, and put them to war. Wickedness. That's why we're not supposed to be dealing with their military. Verse 30.
Doubtless you shall not come into the land concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb and Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. But your little ones, which you said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which you have despised.
So the kids is innocent. Now, a kid's suffering a curse because, their father's dying. So that's a curse. When your father's dying, you cut off from your lineage. But at the end of the day, since you worried about your kids, right? All right, we're going to bring these kids in the land. Since you worried about the kids, right? It ain't your scary behind. It's your kids that's really scared, right? Nah. Verse 32.
But as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in this wilderness, and your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years, and bear your whoredoms until your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness. After the number of days in which you've searched the land, even 40 days, each day for a year, shall you bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and you shall know my breach of promise.
So the children now, for a 40-day journey that took 40 days for them to get there, go spy out the land, and come back. Took 40 years. 40-day trip took 40 years because of the disobedience of the non-believing, fearful, envious fathers. All of that fear and that envy, as we get into more, because remember, it was 10 times they were doing this stuff in the wilderness. This fear and envy led to a betrayal of the Alahayim, a betrayal of the Mispaka, their family, and of their own Kai, their own life. Betrayed their own lives. Yah does not want that spirit in us. That shows you can't have fear and faith at the same time. That's like having light and darkness. You can't. It will not work. Pick one. Either you're going to have faith or you're going to be fearful. Tamshi?
Verse 35. I, Yahweh, have said, I will surely do it unto all this evil congregation that are gathered together against me. In this wilderness they shall be consumed, and there they shall die. And the men which Moshe sent to search the land, who returned and made all the congregation to murmur against me by bringing up a slander upon the land, even those men that did bring up the evil report upon the land, died by the plague before Yahweh.
All right, so consider that land is you. You, Jerusalem, you that land. And how do you think Yah gonna deal with all the people that are slandering you? Complaining against you when you trying to do what Yah said to do? How many times before Yah deal with them? Read that through verse 38.
But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of the men that went to search the land, lived still.
All right, so in case you forgot who Yahweh Elohim, the Elohim of Yasharal, the Elohim of Abraham, Yashak, and Jacob, in case you forgot who he is, he don't need everybody. He don't need the whole land of Yasharal. This is the same all that wiped out the entire planet except for 8 people. This is the same Elohim that wiped out all the men 20 years and upward except for 2 and started the nation over with children and 2 elders. Y'all don't need you. But what he did command of you is to not be fearful and to be faithful and honorable to your covenant. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 20. Devarim chapter 20. Yah chose one nation to be the kings and priests of the world. He chose one group and you were bred into that. You were born into that. If you decide to not carry yourself in that manner, you are slated for death. The only thing we have now is Mashiach's grace that he bought us. But if you can't get rid of that Gentile fear, that lack of faith, before it's time for us to be the vessels of Yah, you will get purged out. Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 12, because the children of Israel that are awakened now, that's the leaders. Because you are before the others. So he's going to pick his captains out of the leaders, those that are woken up. But before he does that, he got to eliminate the fearful and doubting.
We on chapter 12 or chapter 20?
20. Devarim chapter 20. And we're going to start that at verse 1.
Okay. When you go out to battle against your enemies and see horses and chariots and a people more than you, be not afraid of them. For Yahweh your Elohim is with you, which brought you out of the land of Mizraim.
All right. So when you go out to battle against your enemies, and that's every day you got to battle against your enemies. And some of them look just like you. When you see they horses or they cars or they tanks, they chariots, they planes, they drones, and they soldiers, the people more than you, do not be afraid. Yah, your Elohim, is with you. If you do not have faith in that, you're wasting your time. Now you go out to battle because you got beef with somebody because you don't like them. Be afraid. But when you standing in Yah's righteousness, you cannot have any fear. Verse 2.
And it shall be, when you are come near unto the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, Hear, O Yasharal, you approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint, fear not, and do not tremble, neither be you terrified because of them.
All right, so the human body is going to have adrenaline. If anybody that has any kind of warrior or fight or sport, MMA experience, anything, anytime you get ready, I don't care how many times you've done this, every time you step into battle, your nerves, you have to learn how to calm it down, because your adrenaline is going to have your hands shaking, your body shaking, and you don't want to give your enemy that advantage. So you have to learn how to channel that fear. And how I did it and how I do it is I use breathing. I control my breathing. Sometimes I'll hold my breath. That's the only way I can stop from trembling. But you have to learn how to control that fear. Fear is voluntary. You don't have to listen to it. Now, danger is real. You can't just make danger disappear. If it's danger, it's there. But fear is a voluntary reaction. So you have to replace that voluntary action of fear with faith. And how are you going to have faith in something you don't know? Something you haven't practiced? Something you're not familiar with? You're not going to have faith in that. That's why Yah not going to just choose you if he don't know you. He has no experience with you. He hasn't taught you. That's why King David said, nah, you can keep that sword and that armor. I haven't proved this. I don't know this. I know this sling right here. I took out some bad ones. I'll be fine. Tamshi?
Verse 4. For Yahweh your Elohim is he that goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to save you. And the officers shall speak unto the people, saying, What man is there that has built a new house and has not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it.
So you might have your very, very important business for your family on the line. And you can't really fight when you're thinking about your house and your people. You need to have a clear mind. You got to be able to let Yah use you. So you haven't Hanukkah, which is dedicate. You haven't dedicated your house. Least you die and you never got to dedicate this house which your family's going to live in. Go home. Verse 6.
And what man is he that has planted a vineyard and has not yet eaten of it? Let him also go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man eat of it. And what man is there that is betrothed a wife, and has not taken her? Let him go and return unto his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man take her. And the officers shall speak further unto the people, and they shall say, What man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? Let him go and return unto his house, lest his brother's heart faint, as well as his heart.
So all the men that are distracted for whether it be a solid reason. I mean, you just planted a whole vineyard and you worried about, man, if I die, I won't even be able to benefit from my hard work. Or look, I just betrothed the wife. I haven't even taken her yet. I haven't even had kids yet. My bloodline gonna get cut off. Send those people home. Then, look, we're all the scary people at. We're all the afraid people. Just go. I'd rather you just go. At least you start running and causing other men to be afraid, or you don't stand up and you supposed to have my back and now I'm getting killed because you scared. Just send them home. You cannot be a vessel of Yah. You cannot be a soldier of Yah, a warrior of Yah. You cannot be a son of Yah with a fearful spirit. It says Yah is a man of war. How are you going to be a son of a man of a war and you afraid? And by no means does that mean that you're not going to have anxiety and have that spirit of fear in you when your life is on the line. But you don't have to let that control you. That's a choice. If everybody had that same spirit as that fearful person, we wouldn't be here. We just get all wiped out. So that's a choice. But you cannot represent Yah and the children of Yasharal if you choose to put your carnal fear over faith in Yah under any circumstance. So now all that is done. We got all the scary people out the way. Now what are we going to do? Verse 9.
And it shall be, when the officers have made an end of speaking unto the people, that they shall make captains of the armies to lead the people.
There you go. Now that we got the weak and afraid people out the way, or the people that just have a mind that is distracted, now we're going to pick your captains of your armies to lead the people. So when we in those fearful situations in our life, we're afraid of doing the right thing. We're afraid of standing up for Yah. We're afraid of going against something bigger or mightier than us. And the alternative is to cower. The alternative is to not do Yah's law, not to keep his covenant. Those tests are put in our lives for a reason. So he can see what you're made of, whether you're going to be a captain, whether you're going to be a leader. Consider that. Verse 10.
When you come near unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it.
All right, we can stop right there. Let's go to Numbers chapter 16, by Midbar, chapter 16. And, a good test of that. And, this ain't a judgment on anybody. This is just an observation. A good test on that is when we had that so-called sickness that the whole world was scared of. And they threatened you, saying, by putting you in jail, if you congregate more than 3 people or 10 people or whatever number they gave, you could go to jail. And they did this on Passover, on Pesach. This was the test for the leaders of Yasharal to see who the leaders were. The biggest congregations, all those 501c3 nonprofit congregations, all of them took the bait. Nah, stay home. Nah, we're not keeping service. We're not doing anything. Fear. There was maybe 1 or 2 congregations out here. Savior Word of Yah, Israelites Gathering was one of them. And maybe a few other small ones that had their doors open during the so-called worldwide sickness. And keep in mind, the rite of Passover was so that no plague would come on you that year. That was a test. Mark those people that showed you that spirit of fear. That's not your captains. Tom Sheep?
I have a question.
Go ahead, bro.
If you don't mind. On this topic of fear, I think it's something that everyone can relate to, especially me. When you look in the New Testament, and there was a time when before Hamashiach was sentenced to death, or put to death, and he told Peter that before the
we're gonna read that. We're gonna read that.
Sorry?
I know where you're going.
Oh, okay. Because I have a question about that. And that's good. So it's good. We're gonna get into it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that. And just to jump ahead a little bit, just because you fail don't mean that you can't get back up. If you still alive, you can redeem yourself. Just because you kept the spirit of fear, we all had the spirit of fear. Every single human being, even Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson used to cry We saw the spirit of fear in him when he just fought Jake, what's his name? Biting his glove. He afraid. That's a human emotion, but he still went in there and handled his business as an old man. You don't have to listen to that spirit. And you don't have to do it. You don't have to sin again just because you sinned in the past.
Praise God. We're on Numbers 16.
Yes, sir.
Starting at verse 1.
Yes, sir.
All right. Numbers chapter 16 and verse 1. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abiram, and the sons of Eliab, and On, the sons of Peleth, the sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moshe with certain of the children of Yasharal, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered themselves together against Moshe and against Aaron, and said unto them, You take too much upon you, saying all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and Yahweh is among them. Wherefore then lift you up yourselves above the congregation of Yahweh? And when Moshe heard it, he fell upon his face.
And that's that envy. Envy. Jealousy. You jealous of anointing that was given to another brother. You don't know what this man had to go through or what Yah has in store for him. But we want all the honor. We want all the accolades. We want to be the king. We want to be the leader. We want to be all that stuff. But at the end of the day, that envy will also lead you to betray. We got to check those spirits. They have no part in us. Tamshi?
Verse 5. And he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, Even tomorrow Yahweh will show who are his, and who is holy, and will cause them to come near unto him. Even him whom he has chosen will he cause to come near unto him. This do, take your censers, Korah, and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before Yahweh tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom Yahweh does choose, he shall be holy. You take too much upon you, you sons of Levi. And Moshe said unto Korah, Hear, I pray you, you sons of Levi. Seem it but a small thing unto you that the Elohim of Yasharal has separated you from the congregation of Yasharal to bring you near to himself to do the service of the tabernacle of Yahweh, and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them?
So seem it a small thing for Yah to create you to do what he created you to do. Anytime Yah has created you to do a specific thing, according to his word and his law, and you want to do the thing that wasn't given unto you to do, that's envy. You envying something that don't belong to you. You coveting a position that don't belong to you. Yah put this in place. Yah gave you a very important task. I think Korah and them was doing the incense. But that's not enough. Okay. Verse 10.
And he has brought you near to him, and all your brethren, the sons of Levi, with you, and seek you the priesthood also? For which cause both you and all your company are gathered together against Yahweh. And what is Aaron, that you murmur against him? And Moshe sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, We will not come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land that flows with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, except you make yourself altogether a prince over us?
So he made himself a principal over them? See how short-term, see, everybody loved Moshe when he freeing y'all. But when you got to suffer just like him, because he's suffering right along, ain't like he eating good and he's safe and everybody else suffering. He's suffering right along with him. But they not going to blame y'all. They got enough sense to not do that. They gonna come at you. And if you're a leader and you're afraid of the people that you're leading, A, you're gonna give in to them, or B, you're gonna throw them under the bus. Tamshi?
If I can just interject real quick, yeah, this is frightening to look at because it's this same spirit that you see on Korah and these other guys is like it's still alive today, and it's almost scary how like prevalent it is amongst our people. It's one of the reasons that we really can't. A lot of us can't come together and get things going and really work together because of this envy and this no one willing to take the back seat. Everybody want to be on on top. Everybody want to be the top guy. Everybody want to be first, and no one knows how to function, and no one understands that in order to function, it takes different roles and different parts, and everybody got to stay in their lane. But it's really something to see this spirit so prevalent still today.
Right. Absolutely. And it didn't start in the wilderness. You had this with the patriarchs. They was jealous of Yosef because he had a fly coat and he had dreams. His own brothers, they tried to kill him. So this is something that is horrible in the bloodline of Israel. And you got to see where all that came from. Look at the mothers. You had two sisters that were bitter against each other, and they going against each other with their handmaids. So how do you think that develops into the children when the mothers are acting like that? And now the children acting like that, jealous of their brother because the father, he favored one wife over the other one. Now they jealous towards the child. Then they see somebody with talent, they jealous of that. That's the spirit of our people. And when I say our people, that don't mean everybody else. That's us. That means we got to watch that spirit because it's already in us.
Verse 14. Moreover, you have not brought us into a land that flows with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Would you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. And Moshe was very wroth and said unto Yahweh, respect not you their offering. I've not taken one donkey from them, neither have I hurt one of them.
I'm starving just like everybody else, and I didn't take their stuff. I ain't hurt nan one of these people. Respect not their offering. This is what happens when y'all don't respect your offering. Go ahead.
And Moshe said unto Korah, be you and all your company before Yahweh, you and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer, and put incense in them, and bring you before Yahweh every man his censer, 250 censers, you also and Aaron, each of you his censer. And they took every man his censer, and put fire in them, and laid incense thereon, and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moshe and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the glory of Yahweh appeared unto all the congregation. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. And they fell upon their faces and said, O Yahweh, O Elohim, the Elohim of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and will you be wroth with all the congregation? And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, speak unto the congregation, saying, get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Moshe rose up and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Yasharah followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest you be consumed in all their sins.
So touch nothing of theirs. So when you see people are into wickedness, you can't even touch their stuff. I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm good. Go ahead.
So they got up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan and Abiram, on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives and their sons and their little children. And Moshe said, hereby you shall know that Yahweh has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own hand. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then Yahweh has not sent me.
Wow. I mean, once Moshe said that, and I'm on the other side of Moshe, that should have been a wake-up call. Wait a minute, hold on. We know he chose Moshe. I'm tripping. But that's what that pride will do. That pride will cause you your life. That jealousy and envy over your own brother. And they from the same tribe. They're all Levites. Jealous and envious. Go ahead.
Verse 30. But if Yahweh make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth, and swallow them up, with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then you shall understand that these men have provoked Yahweh.
So you go against Yah's anointed, the earth will swallow you up. That's euphemism for the grave. You going under the dirt. But not like regular men, a quick death. So sinkholes opened up on cue. Verse 31.
And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them.
So soon as he finished his words, sinkhole opened up and swallowed these people. Verse 32.
And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods. They and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed them up, and they perished from among the congregation. And all Yasharal that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also. And there came out a fire from Yahweh, and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, speak unto Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter you the fire yonder, for they are hollow. The censers of these sinners against their own souls, let them make them broad plates for a covering of the altar, for they offered them before Yahweh, therefore they are hollow, and they shall be a sign unto the children of Yasharal.
So you can be that sacrifice. If that's what you want, you can be that sacrifice. Or you can get up under the blood of Mashiach and let him be your sacrifice and take advantage of that grace and get that fear, that fearfulness, that enviousness, and that doubt out of you.
Verse 39. And Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers wherewith they that were burnt had offered, and they were made broad plates for a covering of the altar, to be a memorial unto the children of Yasharal, that no stranger, which is not of the seed of Aaron, come near to offer incense before Yahweh, that he be not as Korah and as his company, as Yahweh said unto him by the hand of Moshe. And it came to pass, when the whole congregation was gathered against Moshe and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tabernacle of the congregation, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of Yahweh appeared. And Moshe and Aaron came before the tabernacle of the congregation, and Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, get you up from among this congregation, that I may consume them as in a moment. And they fell upon their faces. And Moshe said unto Aaron, take a censer, and put fire therein from off the altar, and put on incense, and go quickly unto the congregation, and make an atonement for them. For there is wrath going out from Yahweh, the plague is begun. And Aaron took as Moshe commanded, and ran into the midst of the congregation, and behold, the plague was begun among the people. And he put on incense, and made an atonement for the people. And he stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stayed. And they that died in the plague were 14,700, beside them that died about the matter of Korah. And Aaron returned unto Moshe unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the plague was stayed.
So that's a preview. That's a preview of what this wilderness journey gonna look like. A lot of people gonna die. And it may not necessarily be the person that started the foolishness. If you don't separate yourself from wickedness, from that unfaithfulness, you will get sucked up in it. Because all these, look, it said 14,700, and that's besides them that died from the matter of Korah. Yah will have his glory over the whole earth. He can't have his glory on doubt. Now let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1. We're going to go to the Apocrypha, 1 Maccabees. So if you do not have access to the 1611 King James, you can always go to IsraeliteGathering.com or go to our application and go into the books and Bibles section, and you can get access to these books for free. So Maccabees was one of the books that they took out of the King James Version for good reason, because it shows you it wasn't that long ago that we were in the land. It wasn't that long ago. First Maccabees, we're going to start this at verse 1. And we're going to get into some of this this envy that's causing people to start to betray.
First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
All right, so he was the first over Greece. All right, so the first over Greece. Keep in mind, you had the Persians, the Persian Empire. Remember, you had the Babylonians, then the Persians, the Medo-Persians came and took over. And then now you have the Greece. This is all in Daniel chapter 10, where it's prophesying these kingdoms that were going to come into effect. So now you have the Grecians, and you have the son of Philip the Macedonian, which is Alexander, the so-called great. So this is showing you history, the same history we see in the books. But see, the Greeks and the Romans wanted to remove this because they didn't want us to know the level of wickedness that they have been doing against us.
Verse 2. That he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
All right, so this is history. So he knew he was sick. He had all this territory. The Greeks were in control of the whole earth, basically. So what he did was he took his homeboys and he put his homeboys over each realm and let them be like the kings. And that's why you have all these nations round about. You got a person that's in position of power who's lighter complected than everybody else. He got Grecian in him. because they went, took over the land, and they turn around and they just slept with the women of the land. So that's why they kind of look like the people of the land, but then they look like they got European in them as well. You see this in India, you see this in China, you see this in just about every Middle Eastern country. It's the same families. Go ahead.
So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
All right, so we figure Alexander the Great came in, so-called great, came in. He's the first over the Greeks. And then now he reigned 12 years and 137. So that'd be what, 125? So this 125 years later, now you have Antiochus Epiphanes. Verse 11.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
All right, so here you have the sellouts. We'll call them the coons nowadays. They are saying, you know, they envy the wicked. They envy the heathen so bad that they're going to the heathen to make covenant with the heathen. You got covenant with Yah. You can't make a covenant with man over the covenant with Yah. So they're making this covenant with the heathen, saying things were better when we was cool with the heathen. Better than when Yah was cool with you. That's what envy is going to lead to. Envying stuff that don't belong to you. Envying a lifestyle that does not belong to you. You'll betray your people and betray your covenant. Verse 12.
So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
So you saying Yah's not my king. Yah told me I can't eat pork. I got to keep the Sabbath. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do all this stuff. Yah told me that. But no, I'm going to go to the king of the Gentiles. And I'm going to give him more authority than the Most High Yah. These same people exist here today. Your own brothers and sisters doing the same thing, making covenants with the Greeks so that they could do the things that you can't do. So they could get a ticket and get out of a speeding ticket or something. Basic stuff. Verse 14.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
Okay, nothing wrong with exercising. Nothing wrong with a place of exercising. But it says according to the customs of the heathen. And the customs of the heathen are vain. Their custom was get naked and wrestle each other. Get naked and do things that is not seeming for a man to do with another man. Verse 15.
And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief.
All right, so you can't uncircumcise yourself if you circumcise. So this is talking about uncircumcision of the heart. They're going back to the beast-like nature. Verse 16.
Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Mizraim or Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death.
All right, so this is where white Egypt came from, right here. Ptolemy, the Greek. He was over the realm of Egypt. This is how you start getting white people up in there. That's modern day Egypt now. That's where them people came from. From the Greeks and other people of the land that were not the original Kemet. Kemet means dark. Ham, dark. 19.
Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude.
So now, this is how the Greeks got into Israel. In the 143rd year of the Greeks, they have now entered into Jerusalem and are starting to occupy Israel. Go ahead.
And entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar, and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crown, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold, and the precious vessels. Also, he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly.
So that's where your stuff at. All that stuff got taken, and they took that to Europe, as it is to this day. Verse 25.
Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Yehuda, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel.
And this is why you can't trust the heathen. That's what the heathen gonna do. The same thing the government doing right now. They speaking all these peaceable words, all equal rights, civil rights, and all this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, soon as you let them in, they destroying everything. They blowing up stuff. They sticking poison in your veins. Same people, same structure, same rulership. It hasn't changed. And we have the same men of Israel doing the same thing, making covenants with these Greeks. They are literally branding these Greek letters on their skin. The same thing the slave master did. And then the sad part, some of them will actually come into knowledge of who they are, and they still showing loyalty to that. Tom Shee?
Verse 31. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle.
So where you think the women and children went? The women and children went into Greece. This is how they got into to all those different places over there. And the women and children also went to some of these Western African places, as well as into Egypt. to work in the salt mines and all that type of stuff.
Verse 33. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them.
Okay, that's their city of David. That's why you have a sign that says City of David this way, Jerusalem the other way, which makes no sense. Same place. That's that wall that they kissing and banging their head against. That's that wall. The wall they built. Mashiach told you won't be one stone left upon another. So where this big wall come from that they kissing? And why would we be kissing a wall? Tamshi?
And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein.
As it is to this day. As it is to this day. A sinful nation in there.
Verse 35. They stored it also with armor and victuals, and when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there, and so they became a sore snare.
So that's what happened. That's those people trying to claim that they got lineage over there and all that. Yeah, you were there when you were occupying it, but that's not where you from. You know where you from. You from Europe. You ask them, they'll tell you exactly what part of Europe.
Verse 36. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary and an evil adversary to Yasharal. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made a habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her.
That's all the people that's in this Palestine and Israel conflict that have been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. How did they get there? At our downfall. That's why Yah says the judgment for those people. It's clear in this Bible. Verse 39.
Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Shabbats into reproach, her honor into contempt. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor and increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Ain't that the same thing they doing right now? Trying to make everybody all world citizens and all that stuff and that foolishness. It sounds like a good concept, right? If we were all one, we wouldn't be fighting amongst each other. But what they don't tell you is who the one is. The one is their way. And in order for us to all be one, we got to leave the covenant. Verse 42.
And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
All the heathens agreed to that. Israel, we already know we was already created not to follow y'all. So we gonna go a different way, believing in faithful Israel. But fearful and weak Israel, they gonna fall right in. Yeah, we should all be one. Wasn't it better for us when we was with the heathen? That civil rights movement, right? Wasn't it gonna be better for us if we all live in the white neighborhoods and we all share the same schools and do all that? Well, how's that worked out for you? Verse 42.
And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites, excuse me. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Shabbat.
That is religion. Profaning the Shabbat. A ritual for a religion. Sacrificing unto idols. Ritual for religion. That is a religion. And that religion looks a lot like Christianity to me. Verse 44.
For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Yehuda, that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
But I thought it says that you got to follow the laws of the land, right? Ain't that what we supposed to do? Yes. Follow the laws of the land that do not supersede the laws of Yah. So when they coming with all that foolishness, when they trying to tell folks, go ahead and take this poison, stick it in your veins, because we got to follow the law of the land. That's literally what these sellout camps was saying. Furthermore, I can show you 10 laws that is breaking of Yah's laws. Sharing blood, that's number 1. Changing your DNA, that's number 2. Go ahead.
Verse 45. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Shabbats and festival days, feast days.
So that's a religion going against what Yah put in place, what is our culture and our way. That's the first thing they do. I got to break your culture down first. This is the same thing they do in the military. This is the same thing they do in jail. I got to take your identity from you. Just give you a number. Now I can control you. Because if you have your identity and your faith in Yah, you can't be controlled. You will die, or they will die. So here's the goal, verse 46.
And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
That way, the holy people are no longer holy. They have no power. The sanctuary is you. Verse 47.
Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
What do? Every pagan holiday, they sacrifice swine's flesh, get you a Christmas ham and all that disgusting stuff. Setting up groves, evergreen trees. Verse 48.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
And that has been in place so long, all the way up to now. In Jamaica, they don't even circumcise. Here you have the tribe of Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, and they don't circumcise. I was born in Jamaica. I didn't get circumcised till I came into America. I was like, 5 years old? This is a real religion that they put out. So that you would make your soul abominable. So the Holy Spirit, the Ruach, don't want to dwell with you. Take away your power.
Verse 49. To the end, they might forget the law, change all the ordinances.
And we at the end, that's how you know. Because we forgot the law and all the ordinances are changed. Verse 50.
And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Uh-oh. Here come the fear. Here's your choice. Fear the king's commandment or fear Yah's commandment. Which one you gonna choose? We not under threat of death right now. But yet people still choosing to fear the king of this land. To fear friendship circles and social circles. To fear all that rather than fear Yah. Rather than fear being out of the grace of the Most High. You're saying I have more power from the powers that be and the nations and the heathen than I do power with Yah. You don't know your power. If you knew your power, you wouldn't give it up for that. They have no power. other than the power you gave them. And as we start to get an international law, we're going to see, yes, we gave them the power for this. And we're giving them the power. Verse 51.
In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Yehuda to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor.
And that's why we're finding in these caves in Qumran, we're finding all these ancient scriptures showing how we're supposed to do things. But you think we're going to believe what the Greeks tell us? Because that's who's over there in the land right now, the Greeks and the Romans. You going to let them tell you how things are supposed to be? Furthermore, look at the name, look at the month Caslu. Where you see that in Torah? Pagan names. We had to flee to places where we were allowed to keep these commandments. Our forefathers had to live in caves and under mountains and all kind of crazy things just to be able to keep these laws. And here you are free. And you will fight to keep pagan rituals and cuss your brother out for exposing you. Verse 54.
Now the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Yehuda on every side.
All right, so Caslu is the 10th month, right? And the 10th month back then would be what we call Deci, December. Deci stands for 10, December. Verse 55.
And burned incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with whosoever was found with the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Now the 25th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of Elohim.
There go your Christmas. The 25th day of the 10th month, December 25th, right around the solstice, here they go with another sacrifice. And how do they sacrifice? What do? They sacrifice a youth. Verse 60.
At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. And they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore, the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant, so then they died. There was a very great wrath upon Israel.
So when you read about this, you read that women were risking their own lives and getting killed just to make sure that their son would have an opportunity to grow up in this covenant of Yah. Women. And when you read more of the story, elders getting killed, men getting killed. One lady had all 7 of her kids killed, and then her. All of that. And you think you're going to share a spot next to them in the kingdom and say Merry Christmas? What kind of God would do that? Does that seem equitable? You won't keep a Shabbat. You won't stop eating pork. You sleeping with married women. You lying to everybody. You selling your people out so you can have a more comfortable household? And you think you're going to sit next to these people? That's why they removed these books out. They didn't want you to see this. They didn't want you to see how detailed it was to bring them to the point where we at now. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 26. Matthew chapter 26. And we're going to start skipping through this a little quick. Let's get to some of the main points. Let's bring this to... All right, we're going to skip through this. Start this in verse 1.
In Matthew chapter 26 and verse 1. And it came to pass, when Yahushua had finished all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, you know that after 2 days is the feast of the Pesach or Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified.
How he knew that? He already kept his Pesach. But he's saying, look, the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. He already knew he was that sign unto Israel. He had to be tortured on their Pesach. But then he kept his Pesach. Verse 3.
You know that after 2 days, then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people unto the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and consulted that they might take Yahushua by subtlety and kill him. But they said, not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar among the people.
So they're not doing this for the people. They're doing this for their own jealousy of this man, envious of this man's anointing. But if they truly understand his anointing, you wouldn't be jealous of that. Who want to be tortured? Drop down to verse 14.
Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests and said unto them, what would you give me, and I will deliver him unto you? And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver. And from that time he sought opportunity to betray him.
Betrayed by his own people. Envy. Wanting that money. He was a thief. He had the spirit of envy and covetousness in him. He wanted things that did not belong to him.
Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Yahushua saying,
drop down. So he's keeping Pesach in 2 days. Let me correct that. He's keeping Pesach in 2 days. Then after he keeps Pesach, that's when they're keeping their Pesach. Drop down to verse 30.
All right, Matthew chapter 26 and verse 30. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then said Yahushua unto them, all you shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. But after I am risen again, I will go before you into Galilee. Peter answered and said unto him, though all men shall be offended because of you, yet will I never be offended.
And I believe, I'm positive that he truly meant that in his heart. He would never. But when that spirit of fear come over you, you might find yourself do things you never thought you would do. So yeah, and this ain't no soft brother either. Kiefer was a gangster. Tomshi?
Yahushua said unto him, verily I say unto you, that this night before the cock crow, you shall deny me thrice.
All right, so that night. So in that night, same night that they keep in the feast, it's when they're going to grab him. Verse 35.
Kiefer said unto him, though I should die with you, yet will I not deny you. Likewise also said all the disciples.
They all said that. Yeah, we'll never turn our back on you, Mashiach. And what do? They turned their back on him. That's that spirit of fear. Fear. Now, you can't fault somebody who's they trying to kill you. We can understand that. What's your excuse? Nobody trying to kill you right now for trying to keep righteousness. They subtly trying to kill you, but they doing that anyways. Let's go to Matthew chapter 27. Even the disciples that were with him, that's how powerful that spirit of fear is. Drop down to verse 15.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse 15.
27.
27 and verse 15.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now at that feast, the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would. And they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore, when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, Whom will you release that I release unto you? Barabbas or Yahushua, which is called Mashiach? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him.
So because of envy by these Sanhedrin, by people who probably not even Israel. I don't even believe they was bloodline Israel, because you got Edomite kings at this time. Out of envy, they delivered him. They betrayed their own nation. They betrayed their own savior, their own king, their own God. And we about to see who else they about to betray. Verse 19.
When he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, Have you nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Yahushua. The governor answered and said unto them, Which of the two will you that I release unto you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate said unto them, What shall I do then with Yahushua, which is called Mashiach? They all say unto him, Let him be crucified.
Or impaled.
The governor said, Why? And the governor said, Why? What evil has he done? But they cried out the more, saying, Let him be crucified.
They don't care. They got so much envy. And this is the problem. What would you have done? You saw all we've read the story, so you've seen all the disciples fled. Even Kepha, the rock, fled, coward. All the Sanhedrin, the leadership, the people that you greeting in the market with rabbi, and you giving them extra fruit and all kind of stuff. All them people said, nah, we need this dude killed. And everybody yelling, impale him, impale him, impale him. What you gonna do? You gonna rent your clothes and say, I got nothing to do with this? Or you gonna be afraid of the people too? Fear, envy will lead to betrayal. Verse 24.
When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See you to it.
You can say you innocent, but you not. You still involved. That's why Rome got what Rome got, and Rome gonna get what they got coming to them. It was in your power to stop this. You occupying them people. Them people ain't occupying you. But you didn't want it on your hands, so you figure you gonna wash your hands, and that's gonna make the proverbial blood disappear from your hands. Sorry. You gonna get the judgment too. Not like the judgment Israel got, but you gonna get yours. So what did the people say?
Then answered all the people and said, His blood be on us and on our children.
So you betrayed your whole nation, your God, And now you are even betraying your children. For what spirit? Envy and fear in the people. Pilate feared the people and betrayed the one person who gave him access to salvation, that actually gave you a chance to see God. That's why you got to check them spirits. You afraid to do the right thing. Check that spirit. That's the plague. If there's ever fear in you for doing, now, if it's tough, man, this is tough. It's just hard. That's the difference. I mean, look, it's just like when you got to pick up something heavy, man, you got to brace yourself, man. This is difficult. But when you're afraid to do the right thing, you got to rebuke that spirit. Because the next spirit that's attached with that is betrayal. We saw our people betray the whole nation and people that ain't even born yet. Let's go to Yeshaya 51 for the conclusion. In Ezekiel 18, it talks about the soul that sins will die. So yeah, even though they put that on us, we didn't all die. Yes, we suffering to this day because of what the ancestors did. But the soul who sins is going to die. But if you ahead and you do something, you might have to suffer for what your body did. Just like a wife, she does something and the husband has to come overrule that in Numbers 30 by Midbar. That husband got to suffer that iniquity, not that wife. She walk away, Scott, she go to the kitchen and cook a meal. He got to suffer that iniquity. But the soul who sins will die. Yeshaya chapter 51 for the conclusion. And go ahead and start that at verse 1.
All right. Hearken to me, you that follow after righteousness, you that seek Yahweh. Look unto the rock whence you are hewn, and to the hole of the pit whence you are digged. Look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you. For I called him alone and blessed him and increased him.
So you ain't got to be in no big group. All of our patriarchs, the ones that had to go through them, had a sanctification period. If you feel like you got to walk with a large group in order to walk, you're going to walk right into that ditch. And I'm not speaking against large groups. I'm just telling you, if you require it to be a large group, when he's telling you clearly, I'm going to take you 2 of a family and 1 of a city, you ain't finna be in no large group. Learn to stand on your own. Your faith should not depend on other people around you having faith. It should be independent so that other people around you can increase their faith. Verse 3.
For Yahweh shall comfort Zion, he will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of Yahweh. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody.
That's why you seeing these deserts now starting to get water. He's just showing you, I can change this whenever I feel like it. We're getting closer. Verse 4.
Hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, O my nation, for law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people.
That's what's supposed to light up your ways and the things around you, his judgments, his laws.
Hearken unto me, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
My righteousness is near, my salvation is going forth, and my arm shall judge the people. The owl shall wait upon me, and on my arms shall they trust. Lift up your eyes to the heavens, and look upon the earth beneath. For the heavens shall vanish away like smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment, and they that dwell therein shall die in like manner. But my salvation shall be forever, and my righteousness shall not be abolished. Hearken unto me, you that know righteousness, the people in whose heart is my law. Fear you not the reproach of men, neither be you afraid of their revilings.
You cannot
For the
be afraid of their revelings. You cannot be afraid of their faces. That's one of the things he told Jeremiah out the gate. Look, bro, if you afraid of their faces, I'm going to confound you in front of them. So you can't approach nothing with the spirit of fear. And how are you going to know that power if you've never exercised it? I'm going to give you a story about a young brother that I know. Young brother that didn't really have a lot of experience. He didn't really go anywhere. He didn't really get to, get out here and experience a lot of the things that young men that's trying to conquer the world experience. Then he was introduced to this word. Yah opened his eyes, and he was challenged to go put himself in dangerous situations during the most dangerous of times. And I'm pretty sure he had fear in his heart the same way I did, because I was right there next to the brother. But the brother showed manliness, not because he wasn't dealing with the spirit of fear. I mean, somebody nearly got shot in front of us. We had to beg them to not shoot somebody right in front of us. But he believed, he had faith in Yah, and I ain't seen the brother look a smidge of fear. I haven't seen what it looked like since. Because he was, and I'm sure the brother has been fearful, just like I've been fearful, but it won't paralyze because he understands Yah's power. That ain't me, that's Yah. If I stand up and do the right thing, this stuff that I read, this stuff that I live is real. And now I have the experience to go with it. Tom Shee?
Isaiah chapter 51 and verse 8. For the moth shall eat them up like a garment, and the worm shall eat them like wool, but my righteousness shall be forever, and my salvation from generation to generation.
Forever. His righteousness shall be forever. So where's this righteousness at? Where's this righteousness at now? It should be in his people. Verse 9.
Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of Yahweh. Awake, as in the ancient days, in the generations of old. Are you not it that has cut Rahab and wounded the dragon?
Has cut Rahab, took a heathen and put a heathen into the bloodline of Mashiach. Rahab is literally one of the four mothers of King David and Mashiach. Verse 10.
Are you not it which has dried the sea, the waters of the great deep, that has made the depths of the sea a way for the ransom to pass over? Therefore the redeemed of Yahweh shall return and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their head. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and mourning shall flee away. I, even I, am he that comforts you. Who are you, that you should be afraid of man that shall die, and the Son of Man which shall be made as grass?
I'm pretty sure, I don't care how big somebody is or how many people is there. If you hit them, they will bleed. And if they bleed enough, they will die. How are you going to be afraid of another man when you know that you've been chosen to be a royal priesthood, the kings and queens of this earth? That don't mean you got to be Action Jackson. You got to go out there and fight everybody. But when it comes to righteousness, you should not be afraid because you know where your power is. Now, the big, swole, muscle building guy or whatever, he might feel like he can fight anybody because he's good. Until he comes against somebody that's bigger, mightier, stronger than him. Now he gonna be like a little coward. I've seen it my whole life growing up. All these so-called big, strong, tough people, when they come across somebody bigger than them, you see how weak they are. Or when they come across somebody who ain't afraid of them. But if it's Yah who comforts you, he's the one that, he said, let him be your fear and your dread. You gonna fear him, just like I feared my parents, my dad specifically. Coming home saying I ran away from a fight. What? No. Get your behind in this car. How many of it was it? Don't worry, I'm coming with you. And you gonna deal with them one by one. We don't come from a bloodline of fear. We come from a bloodline of faith. And that's what the whole world is supposed to learn through us. Verse 13.
And forgettest Yahweh your maker, that has stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth, and is feared continually every day because of the fury of the oppressor, as if he were ready to destroy? And where is the fury of the oppressor? The captive exile hastens that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread should fail. But I am Yahweh your Elohim, that divided the sea, whose waves roared. Yahweh of hosts is his name. And I've put my words in your mouth, and I've covered you in the shadow of my hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth, and say unto Zion, you are my people. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which is drunk at the hand of Yahweh, the cup of his fury. You have drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out. There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she has brought forth, neither is there any that takes her by the hand of all the sons that she has brought up. These two things are come unto you. Who shall be sorry for you? Desolation and destruction, and the famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort you? Your sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets. As a wild bull in a net, they are full of the fury of Yahweh, the rebuke of your Elohim.
And that's what it looks like to this day. Our sons have fainted. They're lying at the head of all the streets. We on every street corner sitting around idle. We've given up. We say, nah, we just gonna be like everybody else. We so ignorant, we don't even know who we are. We're anybody. We known by a street. What's your nation? 55th Street, East Side, Miami, New York, Chicago. So you known by the place of your captivity. We fainted. We've given up. You think this is not it? You think we don't feel what's going on? We feel it. We know this ain't right. Before all this opening up of the Bible, we knew we was God's people. We knew God looked like us. We knew Christ was black. We knew all this stuff, despite growing up with white Jesus hanging up. We knew this, but we fainted. We quit. Not everybody, but us as a nation. Verse 21.
Therefore, hear now this, you afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus says Yahweh your Elohim, and your Elohim that pleased the cause of his people. Behold, I've taken out of your hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. You shall no more drink it again. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict you, which have said to your soul, bow down, that we may go over. And you have laid your body as the ground and as the street to them that went over.
So all them people that walked over you, they got them little pictures with the little black kid sitting down like a footstool, and you got the white slave owner with his feet cocked up on him and all that stuff. All that is what we went through. Them days is over with. Like we said, we not our ancestors. Them days is over with. They're afraid of us. They're afraid of us so much they taking our classes down. They shadow banning us. They removing us. They putting COINTELPRO. They surveilling us. They ain't listening to our phone calls. They ain't our emails. They're making stupid laws, banging, trying to bar an application. You ain't barring. What about Facebook? You ain't stopping them. That cup of fear is on them. They're shaking like little girls. Walk in that understanding that they're afraid of you. Walk under the understanding of what our forefathers were given. That fear will leave you. It will just depart. And when you feel it, your faith will overcome that fear. And you're only going to get stronger, stronger, and more faithful. Because once you see what you can do with the spirit of Yah, you can't go back. You can't. They can't tell you nothing. Because it's proven to you. So let us remove this spirit of envy amongst one another. Let us stop fearing. Because the outcome belongs to Yah, not to the danger that's in front of you. The outcome belongs to Yah. So that's all we're going to do today. Any last questions or comment? All right. Don't see any questions. If you do have any questions, you can always reach out to us. And our email address, info@israelitesgathering.com, or you can go on the website, israelitesgathering.com, and message us, or you can get on the application on your Apple phone or your Android, and you can reach out to us. So if you have gained anything from us and would like to donate to our ministry, like I said, you can go to our website and you can donate to us securely that way. Or if you have Cash App, you can go to our Cash App, which is $SWORD and make a donation. And if you have anything physical to donate, reach out to us. Or if you have resources we can use, reach out to us on any one of the platforms. So that's all we're going to do today. Anything you want to close out with, Brother Cassette?
No, not specifically. Just that this was a very timely class. More than you know, and I'm just thankful, man, for the message, and I pray that it blessed everyone who tuned in and who will tune in or check this message out later.
Praise Yah. And just as a personal testimony, any time that I personally have lied or stolen or was jealous or all of that came from fear. Even when I envied somebody, I was fearful that, somebody might choose them over me, or my wife might look at somebody else and start to have eyes for them, or what. It's always some rooted in some carnal fear or envy. We got to check them spirits. It's human nature. I'm not saying you can't have it. Don't listen to it and root it out. You wanted to say something, brother?
No, I was just going to agree with you. And I noticed that even with the kids, it's only two of them. And so, obviously there's going to be a bit of sibling rivalry.
Right.
But one thing that I did notice is that, sometimes they're more worried, like, okay, they're overly concerned. Like the brother might be overly concerned with what his sister got her sister, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the thing is, they're both gonna get, like, if it's food or something, but that comes from fear of, oh, I'm not gonna get enough, or somebody's gonna get more than me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that kind of stuff, like you said, it's intrinsic to human nature, and it's just something I noticed, even in observing how the kids are operating and whatnot. And that's something that, like, we all have to be mindful of, and even if Yah chooses to increase us, or whether or not, there's also a danger in that, because you can get comfortable, and this is something that I've been even thinking about in terms of myself. When Yah puts you in different situations, or may increase you or change your situation or whatnot, there's always the danger that you can start getting comfortable and start getting not being as humble as you might have been previously. You know what I'm saying? And so
right,
that's one of the you want to check yourself for these spirits so you don't end up distancing yourself from y'all and becoming these things, becoming, envious, jealous, or just lacking humility, lacking, and prideful and whatnot. Hopefully I'm making sense.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, these are all human emotions. And for us to get past that, we got to root these things out. We're the husbandmen, and your heart is the soil, and it's got rocks in it, it's got root, it's got sun scorching it, all these things, and it's your job to give that seed the proper chance. Just like you would protect your child, you have to do the same thing with your heart, which is your mind, and understand that just because you cleared it out today, you can go to sleep every night. You're gonna go to sleep, and when you're asleep, that's when the enemy comes and sows those tears and puts those bad situations. So let's just keep that ahead of our minds. And Yah's will, we will catch you for Bible study on Tuesday. Um, until then, everybody enjoy their Shabbat. And Shabbat Shalom, Brother Cassette.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey, everybody, Lady.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I see some people I haven't seen in a while. Welcome. I'm so glad you came. So, everybody, this was a good lesson. Black Are You 365 support. Thank you so much for your support for my channel. I deeply appreciate it. May the Most High give it back to you 7 times over. All right, y'all. So just stay safe. We are in some very perilous times. And, while this lesson was going on, I got a couple of updates that came across my phone on the war, which is intensifying. So, I pray for anybody that have relatives in the military that's in that region right now. I pray they will be safe and have the hedge of protection of the Most High. We got a lot of our young people over there, and it is really getting very serious. So, everybody, may the Most High keep you safe and keep his most powerful angels around you and keep all those evil people and spirits away so that we can focus more on our kingdom that's coming very soon. The Gentile world is like on a respirator right now and getting far worse each and every day. So, y'all, have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbat. And I have my next live, I believe it's at 5:45. So I will see you then. Shabbat Shalom, family.